So, here, saying that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas have been accepted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his family members. That the relationship with Sachi Sunu, son of Mother Sachi, is not one of formality, but it's one of intimacy. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's allowed himself to be approached by this way. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would associate with his devotees, says the brightly shining golden luster of Srimad Mahaprabhu's large body, it defeated the splendor of a golden mountain. Absorbed in ecstatic bliss, Sri Gaurasundar loudly chanted his own names, Hare Krishna Chais Purita Rasana. We were just singing Sake Kale Gora Mudaram. With his devotees surrounding him, he performed kirtan. And his feet, restless feet, were dancing so sweetly, and ankle bells chiming so sweetly. Tears flowed from his eyes like streams of Ganga Yamuna. His bodily hairs stood on end. Says Raghunath Das Goswami, remembering this unprecedented sweetness of the combined form of Radha and Krishna in the form of Gora. Remembering in separation, it's crying and crying. Says, when will Sachinandan Gauri, when will he appear on the path of my eyes? As Sri Das Goswami, means Raghunath Das Goswami, remembered the great compassion of Mahaprabhu, he became overwhelmed by feelings of separation from him. He offered this prayer while continuously shedding tears, waiting for the darshan of his beloved Lord with the utmost longing and hope. Then Sri Gaurasundar's own compassion, his abundant steadfastness, his unsurpassed renunciation, and fully transcendental praying bhakti arose in the heart of Das Goswami, who became overwhelmed with ecstatic emotions. That one who has the fortune to come in contact with dear devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who in their life is internally absorbed in Gaur Leela, Radha Krishna Leela, and sometimes externally that inner absorption spills out onto the external sphere. And who's able to relate with such personalities. Then, by that association, a very, very deep impressions are there within the heart. Very deep impressions. This is sadhu sangha. That even in the physical absence, then so much remembering those personalities. And by that remembrance, then all unwanted things are removed from the heart. So here, Raghunath Das Goswami, he has no unwanted things within his heart. But as he's remembering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then in separation mood, then so many bhavs are arising within his heart. And barely he's able to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He's remembering how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, during the time of Rath Yatra festival in Puri, that Lord Jagannath, he's coming in procession Baladev, Subhadra, Sri Jagannath, and Krishna and Dwarka, he's in the mood of separation from the Brijbasis. And at that time, during the solar eclipse, the Brijbasis, they come to Kurukshetra. And somebody tells Krishna that, oh, the Brijbasis have come. Though Krishna, he has children and grandchildren, he gets up and he runs to his mother, oh Maya, oh Maya. And Mother Yashoda takes Krishna and puts him on her lap. And though she's over 100 years old, milk flowing from her breast. And Krishna, he's a grandfather, he's crying like a 9-year-old boy. Balaram is on the lap of Nanda Baba, and also crying. Mother Devaki is amazed. She's heard of the love of the Brijbasis, but now she's seen for herself. She tries to separate them with her words, but to no avail. Mother Rohini takes Devaki away, and Mother Yashoda knows that there's some Brijbasis who are feeling separation even more intensely than her, and who are suffering even more than her. So she takes Nanda Baba and Baldev away. And then Krishna, he goes and he meets with the gopis. When the gopis, their separation mood now has risen to such a point, Gurudev explains, that they had such a separation mood coming to Kurukshetra. And as the anticipations, they came closer and closer, it became more and more intense. And then when they finally got there to Kurukshetra, but they could not meet with him because there were so many kings and queens and elephants and horses and royal paraphernalia. And then when they were out the way, then Nanda Baba, Krishna, Balaram and Mother Yashoda, they were obstructing their meeting with Krishna. And then finally, when they were gone, and Krishna came, then with their ropes of love, they lassoed Krishna. And before Krishna physically came to them, they had tied him in their hearts. So Krishna, the body was bound to follow, because they had already taken him in their hearts. And they were stunned. They could not move, they could not talk. And Krishna, sheepishly, he came, and he said, oh, that you thought I forgot you, but I never forgot you. I was always thinking of you. That you should know that I never left you. Like the yogi who's always within the heart, I never left you. And the gopis, they could not talk. But in their minds, they were speaking. How dare you speak to us like this? How dare you tell us to meditate on you like yogis? That we're trying, that we knew you from a very, 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 as Gurudev say, teeny age. We grew up with you. And now you left us. And we want to forget you. The yogis want to remember you, but we want to forget you, but we can't. We cannot forget you. Why? Because we know that you're suffering without us. We're not suffering. We know that you're suffering. And because you're suffering, and our heart is only meant to give you pleasure, so we're suffering. So in this way, Krishna is coming again with the gopis, and the gopis are telling Krishna that for most people, the mind and the heart, they're not one. That their heart will say something and the mind will fluctuate here and there. He said, but our heart is Vrindavan, our mind is Vrindavan, our everything is Vrindavan, and we know that you will only be happy in Vrindavan. So we've come to take you and bring you back to Vrindavan. And they take him and they put him in their hearts. In this mood, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in the Rath Yatra festival. That he's seeing Jagannath. that Krishna, he became so stunned seeing the gopis that his eyes became very big. He became stunned. And the gopis also stunned. Krishna is saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Seta Paranat Painu Yaha Lagi Madane Duri say Genu. That Seta Paranata Tapainu, that after a very long time, now we've met the Lord of our heart, Paranat. That without you, we're dying, we're dying, we're dying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming in, he's singing like this, Seta Paranata Painu, Yahalagi Madane, Jurise Genu. He's crying, and he's trying to chant Krishna, Jaga, and he's trying to chant Jagannath, but only Jug, Gadaga, Gadaga, Gadaga Basham. Same thing, Gadaga Basham. And the words are stuttering, and tears are flowing from his eyes. Sometimes he's jumping so high up in the air, and falling. And everybody's stunned. At that time, Nityananda Prabhu is there. And Nityananda also, he is absorbed in Vraj mood, that now he's come, and he's again, Radharani, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Krishna in the form of Jagannath. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he crashes, Nityananda Prabhu, he will not go near. Why? Because he's in the mood of Balaram, and that's Radharani. He will not touch Radha. He's so absorbed in this Bala. So absorbed. So Raghunath Das Goswami is remembering this, and chanting, Gadaga also choked and crying, chanting, crying, 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 and remembering. That all Gurudev's mercy. Gurudev has given us so much. Seta Paranata Painu Yaha Lagi Manane Dahane Juri Genu. So Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he's remembering the unprecedented sweetness of Mahaprabhu's praying. When will he appear in the path of my eyes? That Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, when he left home, he went to St. Puri with Swarup Damodar. And Swarup Damodar every night would go with Roy Ramananda, and they would stay with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they would sing songs. Bill Mangal Thakur, Chandidas. And in this way nourish these moods of Radharani, which were within the heart, churning like an ocean in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Das Goswami would stay up all night. And then when Swarup Damodar would come back, then his ears were like big leaf cups, and he would just drink the nectar of all these pastimes which were going on. And based on this, then Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he wrote mostly Chaitanya Charitamrita on the Kadacha, the notes of Swarup Damodar. But who delivered the notes of Swarup Damodar to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? Raghunath Das Goswami, because he took all those notes in his heart. And then every day his sadhana in Vrindavan, when he left Puri, was to speak Harikatha. That Raghunath Das Goswami, he was so devastated. First, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, and then soon after, Gadadhar, Swarup Damodar, they left. Then he left Puri, and then he went to Vrindavan, and his idea was that he was going to jump off of Govardhan Hill and commit suicide. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though he had left the planet, he informed Rupa and Sanatan that Raghunath Das has come with this purpose in mind. Sanatan Goswami told Raghunath Das Goswami, he said that if I thought that by committing suicide that I would achieve Krishna Prem, I would have done it long ago, many times. He said, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told me that, look, you've given your body to me, so now you have no right to take that body. So then, to keep Raghunath Das Goswami busy, he had to do seva. And what was the seva?
Right.
He had to speak Harikatha every day. And all the Brijvasis would come and hear Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Puri. And in this way, doing this seva and serving Rupa and Sanatan, he was able to maintain his life. And then Sanatan and Rupa Goswami, they left. Then, that time, he said that, well, I forget the verse, that Radha Kund Giriraj is like the mouth of a tigress, that in separation from my Lord, from my lords, that what is the use of living? That he used to take only one leaf cup of buttermilk. Then after Sanatana Goswami left, then he even stopped taking, and it was taking like water. Then after Rupa Goswami, then practically he was fasting. And he was just living on his praying. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he offered this prayer while continuously shedding tears, waiting for the darshan of his beloved Lord with the utmost longing and hope. Then Sri Gaurasundar's own compassion, his abundant steadfastness, his unsurpassed renunciation, and fully transcendental praying bhakti arose in the heart of Das Goswami. So we should hanker for some abhas, some semblance of this move, by also emulating these souls who are fully absorbed, but some semblance, by remembering Gurudev, remembering Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, remembering Bhakti Vinod Thakur, sadhana, to remember these devotees. And by continuously remembering Nitya, every day, then a relationship, sambandha develops. And then as that sambandha develops, then their moods start to come within our heart. And as their mood starts to come within our heart, then bhakti. Krishna Mul Sadhu Sangha, hoy. Krishna Mul Bhakti Janma, hoy Sadhu Sangha. By this association, then Sadhu Sangha. Then bhakti comes. So, it said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he left Navadvip, at that time he gave instructions to his associates. What instructions he gave? Let's see if I can find. We're going to wind up in about 15 minutes or so, you know. What time is it? It's going on 7 o'clock. We started at 4. 3 hours is a good stint. Because remember that time we did the Venu Git? Wasn't that nice?
3 days.
How many days?
It was Gopi Git. 6
Gopi
days.
Git. Gopi Git.
6 days.
6 days. We did day and night. Day and night.
I didn't go to work. We just read, meditated.
That was so sweet. Prabhu kahe kahilam, e maha mantra, iha japa giya sabe, kuriya nibanda, iha hoite sava siddhi, hoi sabha, sabachana, bolo ite vidhi nahi a. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was leaving Navadvip and going to take sannyas, Raghunath Das Goswami is remembering this. He said, "Oh Prabhu, oh Mahaprabhu, you gave that instruction. What, Prabhu? Kahe Kailam, a Mahamantra. The devotees were coming. And they were offering so many gifts. Kulavecha Sridhar came. He offered pumpkin, gourd, and he gave to Mother Sachi, did Mahaprabhu. And with milk, then she made very nice preparation. They had very sweet kirtan, Mahaprabhu devotees. Then, in this context, with his devotees, who were around him like bees, taking the nectarian sweetness from the moods of Nimai. Then he's Nimai. Then he said, Iha japa giya sabe, Koreani bandhan. He said, regularly you chant japa of this Maha Mantra, Nirbandha. That something like 4 rounds is a granta. And then 4 times 16 is a Nirbandha. He says, every day you chant. Mahaprabhu is giving the instruction. Iya hote sava siddhi hoy sabha. He says, if you do this, you'll achieve perfection. What's your name again? His name?
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Nick. Father Christmas. So Nick,
Saint Nicholas.
he's giving instruction to you also. To Nicholas, you're his family member. You're Mahaprabhu's family member, Gopal's family member.
Oh, yeah.
Iha japa giya sabe Korean banda. I can show you how you can do 64 rounds. If you fix your mind, I can show you how you can do without too much endeavor. Without too much endeavor. In the beginning, a little bit difficult, maybe a lot difficult. But after a while, he gives this instruction. That if you do, you will attain all perfection. All perfection. He's talking really a spiritual perfection. But even material perfection will come. All your foes will be thwarted. Chant 64 rounds a day. Savachana bala ite vidi nahiya. Chant at any time. In any circumstance. No other rules and regulations. Just absorb yourself because this is the root of bhakti. Harinam Sankirtan. In Harinam Sankirtan, Sadhu Sangha must be there. And you do that, everything is there. But because we can't, generally speaking, then we have so many other things to do. But when you can, no need anything else. No need. So, I'll get in trouble for this, the taping. It's my pleasure. So, Iha hoite sava siddhin hoibe sabha. All perfection, all spiritual perfection will come in Harinam. Why? Because this is the process in this yuga. In first yuga. First yuga is Satya Yuga. People were like completely self-realized souls. So the process was what? Meditation. But then next yuga, Treta Yuga, process was? Needs something a little bit more stronger because the qualities of people started to decline. So it needs something else. So they're doing sacrifice. Then in Dwapara Yuga, the previous yuga, then people, they did not have such opulence. They needed something more tangible. Now becoming so much in the bodily conception of life. Something more stronger. In Kali Yuga, completely degraded. So Krishna says, okay, let me give them the nuclear bombs. The most powerful thing. Harinam Sankirtan. Simple. Simple. No argument. Simple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving, and this is the end of the second verse. Raghunath Das Goswami said that he's instructed that, oh my brothers and sisters, that please you do one thing. He said that if you love me, I ask you only one thing. You do one Nirbandha, you chant 1 lakh of rounds. That's what he's asking. But for us to say, okay, if not, first you start just do 4 rounds. 4 rounds? You're doing 4 rounds? Very good. Excellent. Super excellent. Huh? Just do 4 rounds. And then you build it up to 8 rounds. Then 16. Then 32. Then 48. You read Harinam Chintamani. You have Harinam Chintamani? You have? For the person who is in the Kanishta stage, the Neophyte stage, who has laya. Laya means like sleep. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you know what his recommendation is? Then you build up to 3 lakhs of rounds. That's in the Kanishta stage. In the Kanishta stage. In the Kanishta stage. You read Harinam Chintamani. I'm not making it up. You look, you'll see. Because then at that time, you don't have time for Maya. Of course, if you're like me, you can find time. But most people, they don't have time. They don't have time. If I chant 16 rounds, I'm happy. Most people, they don't have time. But Mahaprabhu was saying, you do like this, then you have no problems in your life. Your life will be perfect. You would have achieved the perfection of life in this Kali Yuga. This Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, but there's one redeeming factor, that by Harinam you can get the process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming and shown how to achieve the process, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur here is explaining, this is it. This is how you do it in this life or the next, but very soon. Shri Harinam Sankirtan. So good. I wanted to do 2 chapters. I did 2 verses. It's okay. Then tomorrow we continue. Okay. So
What time?
It's
11 o'clock, huh?
tomorrow
Yeah.
at the temple.
No, it's at Radhama's house.
He changed it to his
He
house.
told me, yeah.
Oh,
He switched to his house. It was the last thing I heard.
okay. 11810
What temple was it going to be?
Second floor.
What temple? Huh?
Goranga Bolite.
No, I'm saying, what temple was it supposed to be?
Golaka Sharira.
Oh.
But it's at his house.
Hari Hari.